Looks like we got the Simmons women just flipping in
There you
here
go.
for
Good
the start.
Good start across the board there.
Yeah, I think it's that Washington College crew in the center of the course that got the better of that start command. But we're going to ride here with the Marietta crew as we take off down the race course for the grand final of this D3 Women's 8.
Marietta on their high strokes, 44 strokes a minute, which is typical for any of these 8s in their first 10 to 15 strokes, maybe out to 20 strokes.
Yeah, and here's a shot of all of our crews, including Bryn Mawr in the yellow boat, which we will not make that mistake again during this race, I hope. But next to them, we can see our Stockton crew and Washington College. And then panning over to the outside, we can see our other Washington College crew.
So a little bouncing around going on there in that Bryn Mawr boat. You can see the boat wobbling a little bit back and forth. Them trying to find the balance of that boat. Maybe their movements haven't been exact as they shift into the body of their race pace.
Yeah, and you can actually, just as we drew our attention to that Bryn Mawr boat, saw a pretty major adjustment from the coxswain there.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, you can see the riggers tilt a little bit left, like there, tilt a little bit right, Stockton boat. That makes it hard to get the length in on your stroke. If you're low to the water like that, sometimes you have to cut your stroke off a little bit in order to get something on the water, some kind of purchase out there.
Yeah, it does look like this coxswain is again tempting fate there with the port buoy line in this Stockton boat. But we also see this Bryn Mawr boat maybe also coming in that direction as we move to the other side of the course, just to check in on our other crews, our crews from Simmons and Marietta and our other Washington College boat here.
So these boats also in Division III, they would be vying for a bid for the NCAA National Championships in Sarasota. And their first and second 8s, in this case Washington College in the grand final of this Division III championship, their first and second 8s are going to be ranked here. So it's important for the Washington College crews, whether it's the second crew, to score as high as possible against these other ones in order to get a potential bid into the NCAA championships in, 2 weeks? I think that's what it is.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a nice shot here. These three crews as they're just coming out of the bridge and finishing up their turn, coming through this second 500 now. Really nice shot of the Bryn Mawr boat closest to us with all the yellow.
Yep.
And the Stockton crew, of course, just immediately to their left. And then, of course, our Washington College boat on the far side. And just as they go off picture, we see our other Washington College crew coming into picture. And I would say, Casey, we're looking at maybe Bryn Mawr and this Washington College boat on our right side, possibly being our race leaders.
Clearly the Bryn Mawr over the two crews on the outside, Stockton State and Washington College, and the second Washington College boat. But there's the bow of the Washington College boat in lane 3. And as we get more of a direct line across the course here, we can't really tell where that is, but we have to guess that. But here we come up. Looks like Washington College is moving really fast, but that's just the camera angle where the camera sits static as the boats come across. You can get a better picture of it, but I would say the Bryn Mawr may have that edge on them.
Yeah, there's a nice field there for you. It looks like 3 boats out at the front here. We didn't stick with that camera angle long enough to get a sense of where our other crews from Simmons and Marietta and Washington College might be at this moment, but it does look like a Bryn Mawr leading crews from Washington College and from Stockton. Yep.
All right, the typical chevron pattern, 2 center lanes, Washington College and Bryn Mawr leading the pack. Bryn Mawr leading the Stockton State and Washington College in the outer lanes, and Washington College leading Simmons and Marietta on the inside lanes.
Yeah, that's a good call, and it is, I suppose, what you would say, what we would expect to see in these races that have had preliminary rounds of racing, these middle crews having earned those priority lanes in the middle of the race course, lanes 3 and 4, of course, put you right in the middle of all the action when you line up for your grand final. So those are considered the desirable lanes for our seeded crews.
And, you know, usually you will not see a drastic difference. If a crew goes down the course at X amount of time, you're not going to see a boat length or 2 difference from one day to the next, one race to the next. I mean, you'll see small incremental changes depending on when they row more accurately or not, but you're not going to say, oh, this week so-and-so, the same lineup's going to be 2 or 3 boat lengths faster. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, typically we don't see that amount of variability in these crews who are training pretty full-time as student athletes, taking a pretty professional approach to their training, and in addition to their studies at school. Usually they end up getting trained to be very, very consistent and very, very professional.
So they're allowed up to 20 hours of supervised training a week, but I'd say most of these Division II, Division III crews are under that, if I recall, more like 14, 15, 16 at best of supervised training, whether it's on the water, on the land with the weights, or on the rowing machines. But here we go. Look at this. We've got in the middle of course Washington College and Bryn Mawr. Looks like leading the pack inside of us here in Marietta in lane 1. Also challenging for a potential, looks like a bronze medal, but there's potential if they can run that rating up to get up there into maybe a higher level medal.
I think you're right. Looking at this field, it does look like our second Washington College boat and the boat from Simmons are maybe just out of contention now as we're coming through the island. It is Bryn Mawr that is leading our first Washington College crew as they're coming past the commentary box, but Washington College is taking their rate up to try and charge back on Bryn Mawr as they are coming by us here. Really good effort from this Marietta crew on the close side to try and get back on terms with Stockton on the far side.
Yeah, full boat link there for Bryn Mawr over Washington College. That's going to be, I would say, not something that Washington College is going to be able to pull down. They're going to be looking for that silver medal. But look, we got Marietta here, and on the far side of the course, Stockton State. What they can do for the bronze here, that's going to be, could be one of those close finishes. We're not going to be able to tell from here, that's for sure.
Yeah, we can hear that Marietta Coxon, she is absolutely all in for these women as she is urging them to try and steal that bronze medal away from the Stockton crew.
And they're sharpening up as they come through.
Yeah, but you have your winners on screen right now in the yellow boat. Bryn Mawr, gold medalist in the D3 Women's Varsity 8, followed by a very, very fierce Washington College crew who chased them very hard down the course to the line.